What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. Bring the Ravens content every single day. If you want to stay at daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. Now, today is Monday in the offseason. The Super Bowl was yesterday. You guys can let me know what you guys thought about it. I will probably talk about it in another video or on a live stream or something like that. But if you did not know, if you're new to this channel, in the offseason, every single Monday, I put out a new Baltimore Ravens 7-round mock draft. This is the first one. It's coming out today. And how this works is I do a lot of scouting on players as well. I do individual videos. Oh, hey, check out this guy. Check out this guy. The mock draft videos are the perfect time for for you guys, the viewers. If you guys have guys that you like, that you want me to scout, please tell me. And if I say something and you're like, no, I don't think this guy's a good fit with Baltimore, tell me. This is not something where right now, this is the very beginning of my scouting process, okay? I don't know everything about all the prospects yet. So if you have insights, players that I should look out for in future mock drafts, let me know. I will do research on them. I will scout them, and I will probably put them in a future mock draft if I really like the prospect. So I am asking guys, if you have stuff you want me to talk about, got players to look out for, let me know. Another thing to quickly note before we get into my actual mock draft is I don't do any trades, at least right now, because it's just so far in advance predicting what other teams are going to need. It is just too difficult. So I'm just doing no trades. Right now, I could potentially do trades in the future. And in the future, we may also do live streams on Monday, just depending on how things are going as I, do these mock drafts. But let's get into it. Ravens mock draft. Here we go. 14th pick. You guys already know it. I had to go with Sauce Gardner. He's my number one guy in the draft for the Ravens, barring any crazy guys fall or anything like that. I love Sauce Gardner, corner out of Cincinnati, big, strong, physical, ball skills, and he plays a man-to-man scheme, press corner. That's exactly what the Ravens have been running. That's exactly what the Ravens have needed. I'm a huge fan of Sauce Gardner. You guys know this, and I'm assuming a lot of you guys are going to be really happy with that. And I will explain more of the guys that you guys may not know a little bit more. I try and not go super in detail for the guys that you guys already know a lot about. But I'm sorry, this is the first one for a lot of you. So I'm just trying to get the rundown and explanation of all of it. Second pick for the Ravens, 45th pick overall. I'm going with DeMarvin Leal or Leal. I don't know how to pronounce. He's a defensive lineman for Texas A&M. And, the Ravens are trying to get younger at the D tackle spot. And he's a guy who can get pressure and he can get sacks. And I think him, along with Justin Madubuike, could be a really formidable duo for the Baltimore Ravens on the inside in pass rushing situations. I really think that that's a spot that the Baltimore Ravens should go. Next, pick 76 in the draft, I have Dylan Parham, interior offensive lineman out of Memphis. Now, last year, he started 12 games at right guard. He started most of his games in his career at Memphis. He was a 4-year starter at left guard, but he also played some games at right tackle. However, he is a little bit undersized, and it's expected that his best fit in the NFL is at center. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with Bradley Bozeman in that extension, but having a guy that can play center and also, if we do retain Bozeman, has experience at right guard, left guard, and right tackle, I think that's very valuable to this team. Having guys that can play multiple spots on the O-line is pretty important. But I like him to be a potential future center so then we don't have to extend Bozeman. Pick 99. Troy Anderson. This is a guy that I was really excited about when I first heard about him. He is an athlete. That's all I can use to describe him. We think Brandon Stevens as a pick was kind of wild. Troy Anderson was a quarterback and a running back at Montana State. He's a linebacker prospect. This guy is just an athlete. And, he went over to Montana State, he went over the defensive side of the ball at Montana State, sorry. And, he made some plays and he showed off his athleticism, was able to do decent in coverage. He explodes to the ball, but this is a guy that would be a project. But this is a guy that, since we already have some linebackers, right? We have Patrick Queen, we have Tyus Bowser, we have, Dalen Hayes, we have a lot of guys. He can sit behind him, work on his craft, develop, and could potentially become a great player for the Baltimore Ravens defense. I really like him as a prospect. He is a guy to look out for, and I encourage all of you to check out Troy Anderson, linebacker out of Montana State. Pick 108. We had a lot more picks this year than last year, and I absolutely love it. Jake Ferguson, tight end out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin runs a lot of 12 personnel and things like that. He's an excellent tight end too for that. He can catch the ball well. The Ravens don't really know exactly what they're going to do at the tight end spot outside of Mark Andrews and Nick Boyle. We would love to see them have 3 tight ends, and I think drafting one could be the way to go. Now, I still like Josh Oliver. The Ravens have some other tight ends, but the Ravens have so many picks. They can draft a tight end and see how he does, see how he performs. And if he doesn't work out, you can trade him. But I think he will be a really solid tight end, good backup for the Baltimore Ravens to use, especially in the red zone, especially on 3rd and short, 2nd and short, those types of situations. He can be utilized very effectively. Pick 117. I had to do it, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm going with Kobe Bryant, cornerback, Cincinnati. Bringing the duo from college to the NFL. Kobe Bryant won the national best cornerback in NCAA football last year. He may not be as good of a prospect as Sauce Gardner, but he can lock guys up. Got Alabama, the best team in the country last year, outside of Georgia, was not throwing the football because of those 2 cornerbacks. This is a program that's put like 6 wide receivers in the first round of the draft in the last 2 or 3 years. Like, this is a program that throws the ball well recently. And they were staying away because they know how good those cornerbacks are. And I think that just, him being available, it wasn't something when I started this mock draft to be like, oh, I got to get these 2 together. I was just sitting there in the draft. I was like, wait a minute, he's still available? Let's do it. I love him as a prospect as well. So, another guy with good size, can play press man. That's what the Ravens like to do. Huge fan of it. And depending on whether or not the Ravens re-sign Marcus Peters, he could sit as kind of a backup role. And then next year, get into the forefront of the defense. Next pick 126 in the draft. We are just going back to back to back in these rounds. But Tyson Anderson, safety out of Toledo. Now, he is a bit of a raw prospect. He's nothing crazy. He's not going to be a starter right away by any means. He's looked at as a guy who could potentially be a special teams player and could potentially be a 3rd safety. Who does that sound like? Anthony Levine, who the Ravens lost. Lost, from actually playing. He could absolutely come in and fill that role. Would he be as good as Anthony Levine? No, that would be very difficult for a rookie. But he could, develop and work on it and then eventually become a really solid player on the special teams and then potentially be a contributor, at the free safety or strong safety position, depending on what the Ravens need and where they go with their defense in future years. Next guy, not 100% sure on how to pronounce his name. It's either Tyler Beatty, pick 138, running back out of Missouri. This guy's small. He's 5'8", but he's explosive. This is a guy that I think the Ravens have needed. Greg Roman needs to stop using Devin Duvernay as what I think Tyler, I'm going to say Beatty. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Please correct me. I don't want to sound stupid all the time. Tyler Beatty can be the guy that we throw in jet sweeps. He can be the guy that we're running the reverses to. And then we can allow Devin Duvernay to be the good wide receiver that he really is when we lose Sammy Watkins, most likely in free agency. He also has experience lining up at wide receiver. He also has experience returning kicks. So Devin Duvernay, I love Devin Duvernay. He's a good returner, Pro Bowl returner. Sometimes when you have a good returner that can also play offense, you need to get them to focus on, playing wide receiver like Tyreek Hill did. Tyreek Hill was the best returner in the NFL. He still probably is the best returner in the NFL, but he switched to wide receiver because they realized, hey, we need you on offense at all times. We don't want you to be tired. We need you out here on the field, for more times than just the kickoff. So I think drafting him could be a way to get Devin Duvernay more involved in the actual offense rather than just the special team. So I really like him as a prospect. And then he could also just be a good, 3rd running back. Hey, the Ravens are going 2 running back set. You get Beatty in the backfield with, Gus Edwards or J.K. Dobbins, and all of a sudden there's a crazy explosive guy along with some really good finesse power runners in J.K. and Gus, and those guys are also explosive too. So it could be just a great backfield. And obviously, Lamar Jackson, Mr. Explosion himself. Next guy, I apologize to this man on my pronunciation of his name because it's not going to be correct, and I apologize. But I'm going to give it my best shot. Pick 140. Ioma Uwazurike, interior defensive lineman, Iowa State. I apologize. If anybody knows how to pronounce it, let me know, please. Very difficult. I'm going to call him Ioma. He's a run-stopping defensive tackle. You know, the Ravens are losing Brandon Williams. I think they could potentially go after a guy in the later rounds to say, hey, it's third and 3. We think they're going to run the ball. 3rd and 2. Can you get out here on the field? Because, you know, the guy I had drafting earlier, DeMarvin Neal, isn't amazing in stopping the run. He's pretty good overall as a player, but I feel like the Ravens do want to have that sort of big-bodied nose tackle, and Ioma can at least try and replicate Brandon Williams' play. And I feel like that's still a position to have, but it's not a position of like crazy need to where the Ravens need to go and draft, you know, a second-round pick on that sort of thing. Final pick for the Baltimore Ravens, pick 194, Jeffrey Gunter, edge rusher out of Coastal Carolina. Now, I did skimp out on the edge rusher. I feel like I could have done a little bit better job drafting edge players, but, you know, I like the other guys that I got. And Jeffrey Gunter is a guy who he is seen as more of a rundown edge rusher. So what that means is he is an edge rusher that can set the edge for running plays. And we already have Odafe Owe, phenomenal at setting the edge, but I feel like we could have 2 edge rushers that can stop the run really well. I feel like that's very valuable. And then Odafe Owe, advancing him to be able to, you know, rush the passer better, because we have Dalen Hayes, who I think can become a really solid pass rusher. We have, you know, Tyus Bowser, who's good in pass situations. But I feel like getting another guy that to develop, you know, under Mike McDonald could be a guy that's pretty valuable. And, you know, getting a guy in the 6th round, I think that's worth it. Or maybe it's late 5th. I can't remember. I just have the number in front of me, not the actual draft pick 194. I think that's 6th round. But I like it. I like going with edge rusher. I probably could have gone a little bit more. But guys, please let me know. What do you think about it? You know, I can go over all the names once again for all of you to remember. Sauce Gardner, DeMarvin Leal, Dylan Parham, Troy Anderson, Jake Ferguson, Kobe Bryant, Tyson Anderson, Tyler Beatty, Ioma, and Jeffrey Gunter. Those are my guys. Let me know if you have mock drafts that you've done. Put them in the chat. I want to see, or the comment section down below. I want to see them. I will comment on them. I will ask you about certain players. I want to know so I can help you guys and help more people understand here's where to go. Here are good guys to look at, because I will also be making videos on look at these guys in the 3rd round and spend much more time really getting into my analysis of these players, because I don't want to make an hour-long draft video, guys. I think you guys like the shorter videos where I say, here's who I draft. And then, you know, throughout the week, I can also put out, hey, here's 3 edge rushers to look at in the 4th round. And I put out those types of videos as well. So let me know what you guys think. Hit the subscribe button down below if you enjoy and want to see more Mock Draft Monday. Like the video if you like the video. And let me know what mock drafts you're doing, who I should look out for. If you think my pick was a bad pick, let me know. You know, you may be right. I want to look into it. I want to know as much as possible before the draft. So thank you, everybody. And I will see all of you again tomorrow.